Known as the God of Lightning, Hajime Kashimo has returned after 400 years of abject silence to exact vengeance upon one specific man. This isn't any ordinary, bottom of the barrel Miwa level slop of a character. Hajime Kashimo was undoubtedly the strongest man of his time and someone Kenjaku specifically sought out to be a part of his culling game. However, Sukuna never existed in that time period and perfection was unattainable for Hajime. Now given the chance at redemption, it's time to witness what it means to have perfected the use of curse energy. Turning and seeing someone approaching him at high speed now, Sukuna tells them that he better not let them down. Flashing up into the sky, we see that without any time for anyone to mourn or feel sorrow for Gojo's death, the one that came in to take his place against the King of Curses was no one other than the Thunder God, Hajime Kashimo. Hovering 203 meters off the ground, Kashimo himself is surprised when he notices an object falling from even further up. Atop that meteor-sized piece of ice was none other than the Frozen Queen herself. Getting surprised herself though, above Urame appeared Hikari, yelling out that she won't be going anywhere. Not interested at all in taking on the special grade sorcerer, Urame prepares her ice formation, while simultaneously Hikari pulls up his hands and activates his domain expansion. Even though Hikari was able to trap the Ice Queen within his own domain, the large block of ice that she stood on kept plummeting towards the earth below. Down below, of course, was none other than the King of Curses, who began extending his hand towards the now melting iceberg. Now, like a torrential ocean wave, all of the ice melts into water under an endothermic reaction, allowing the one-handed demon to grab a certain object. So, remember back to when Yorizu tried to show Sukuna love but absolutely failed? Well, in the end, and in a similar way to Mai, she used her innate technique creation to use her remaining curse energy to create a specific item. Now with this dagger-like item clenched firmly in the hand of the one that she used to love, it's revealed that what Yorizu created was a replica of an ancient item Sukuna used to wield, the curse tool Kamatoke. This tool's ability seems to be one that allows the user to control some form of electricity. Within milliseconds of receiving the tool, Sukuna launches a blast towards his opponent, which, hilariously enough, is perfectly countered by the effects of Kashimo's own cursed energy. Speaking up now, Kashimo asks the King of Curses if he earned the title of the strongest, or was he simply born with unbeatable prowess? Not actually having a clue himself, Sukuna answers that he can't say much, but what he can say is that he was born accursed, an unwanted little wretch. Stopping myself here for a moment because I kind of want to point out a few things. This really makes me question if he was born of a human and a cursed spirit, possibly in a similar way to that of Choso or even Yuji, depending on what happened with him. Was he useless at birth like Toji, Mai, and Maki and underwent some form of heavenly restriction to greatly increase his physical capabilities, then somehow re-enter the world of Jujutsu? Which, just doesn't even make sense to me. From this though, it's obvious that he was an outcast from birth, an unwanted little wretch. For those curious about a major part of what even Jujutsu Kaisen is about, it is all about teaching people what love is. It sounds soppy and cringe as hell, but it's this underlying part of the story that now, with a lot of the most loved characters beginning to fall or having fallen, it's making itself even more apparent. To me, Sukuna fears death because he is the strongest. He has said, and he obviously thinks that you're alone in death, which also is just crazy after what happened recently to Gojo. We saw that in Jujutsu Kaisen, when you die, you are not alone if you're loved. You are surrounded by all of your loved ones, be it in this world or the next, human or cursed spirit. Jogo, upon his death, instantly found his close friends, and so did Gojo with his entire year from school. Even freaking Toji was there. I don't know, and people are going to find it weird, and it just kind of obviously depends on how Yuji talk no jutsus it, but the story began with Yuji being taught what love is, and it's probably going to end with him teaching Sukuna that same thing. Either that, or it's going to be similar to, Mahito, but he finally gets to close it out this time. Enough of me talking about love though, it's time for Kashimo to attempt it. Still in conversation, he asks how Sukuna is able to connect with others. How can he love those beneath him without knowing some kind of weakness? To Kashimo, it's something that he just can't comprehend. He was always surrounded by the most feeble and pathetic people, no more than dirt in the eyes of curse energy or pebbles of sand on a beach. In an attempt to understand him, he pleads for Sukuna to enlighten him. Is strength itself solitude, or is the endless search for greater power simply a burden the strong have to bear alone? Amused with just how greedy Kashimo is for asking about information on who he was, Sukuna chuckles, but lets him know that he'll teach him, so be sure to give him his best shot. Absolutely stoked with the chance of a lifetime, and something he has personally waited hundreds of years for, Kashimo bursts forth. Jumping up, he slams his staff down atop Sukuna, only for him to comfortably block with an electric burst before darting out of striking range. Activating his one-time use innate technique, Kashimo releases his awed-over mythic beast Amber and proceeds to sock a shock Sukuna with a flurry of punches, sending him sliding back. Warping his body into an otherworldly form, Kashimo directs his face at his opponent and sends a blast of electricity that explodes upon contact with him. Joking that this form of his is far too loud, it's explained that mythic beast Amber transforms Kashimo's body into something else. I kind of think of it like Ino's auspicious beast technique, but instead of being an intermediary, Kashimo literally becomes one of these mythic beasts, warping his body with curse energy to resemble it, in this example, the Amber version. During the time this ability is active, Kashimo can use any phenomena that can be created by electricity, until his curse energy runs out. I just want to mention that this means it's possible Kashimo can travel at 90% the speed of light, or over 250,000 kilometers per second at this, point for a limited amount of time. Using this speed increase to his advantage, Kashimo takes Sukuna somewhat by surprise and sends a blast of sonic electricity into the ground directly below him. Instantly following this, Kashimo throws a fat right hook, connecting with Sukuna's face and sending him back, leaving him flattened upon the ground. It's explained that by activating this technique, Kashimo's agility increases. He can optimize the sound and tune out incorrect noises to match natural frequencies. If any object is sent at him, it's quickly vaporized due to the electromagnetic waves flowing off his body. Yet, once this technique concludes, and because of how badly Kashimo's body is being exerted with curse energy, he will crumble to dust and die. Using an effect of his own curse energy and having placed a positive charge on Sukuna when he hit him, Kashimo releases the negative one and sends a current of electricity that instantaneously connects with the King of Curse's already weakened body. So, apart from a reverse curse technique, Sukuna actually has a method of restoring his original body, one that he isn't able to abuse and can only use a singular time. A certain method that he'd been intentionally waiting to use since the beginning. This method was, like the other members of the Killing Game, resuming his transformation through means of incarnation. Activating his X-ray vision, Kashimo is able to analyze the slowly approaching demon. Without a doubt, what stood in front of him was perfection. When it comes to just how broken Sukuna actually is, everyone needs to realize that the reason he has extra body parts, and possibly even internal organs, is so that his hands remain uninhibited. Then, while performing a chant, his lungs remain free, and his heart isn't burdened by the added effects. All of these extra body parts provide Sukuna with an immense advantage over anyone else. He may be physically deformed, but that doesn't matter or impede him in the slightest. Instead, as I've mentioned, it adds to his potential. During the Heian period, Sukuna was armed with both his incredible strength and the curse tools known as the Supreme Martial Solution and Heiten. Heiten is supposedly the large trident-like staff that he wields that we've seen in some art and whatnot, whereas the Kamutoke that Yorizu created is most likely the recreation of the Supreme Martial Solution. With these items, Sukuna annihilated the Sun, Moon, and Stars squad, and the 5 Void Generals that served as guards to the northern Fujiwara clan. Then, on top of that, he decisively defeated the Abe clan's elite forces, which included Angels, whatever the hell that means, and the Deshi Pacification Squad, who themselves were composed of Sugawara clan members. Utterly blown away with the unreal achievements Sukuna was able to complete over his life, Kashimo can only fawn over how beautiful the Demon King's true form seems. Taking the offensive now, Sukuna rushes at Kashimo and manages to land a double right-handed body strike that launches the sorcerer up into the sky. Using the height to his advantage now, Kashimo shoots a blast of condensed electricity directly at his foe. Unconcerned, Sukuna with his second mouth begins chanting while simultaneously telling Kashimo that he should probably dodge the strike. Out of nowhere, Dismantle is sent forth and manages to slice the palm of Kashimo's improved mythic beast form. Instantly, the special grade sorcerer realizes that this is the same ability that was able to finish Gojo off, as it was a slash that cut the world itself. Standing there, absolutely jacked out of his freaking mind, Sukuna jokes that a fool once tried to teach him about love, yet she didn't even know what love was and was also insanely lonely. Sukuna explains that he understood what she was trying to say, however, she just had the wrong guy. In his eyes, she'd have more luck preaching her love to someone like Kashimo or Gojo. It's not that they didn't know what love was, it was just that they were unable to understand it themselves. Completely confused with what he was even trying to say, Kashimo queries him, only for Sukuna to ask him a bold question in itself. He was strong, right? Powering up as if it's his last chance, because this is. Kashimo unleashes waves of electricity that shoot out in every direction. Undeterred by the power increase, Sukuna catches Kashimo off guard and appears right behind him, grabbing his hands and pummeling him with his two free ones. Coughing up blood now, Sukuna slams him onto the ground and throws a demonstrably weaker sorcerer across the decimated landscape of Shinjuku. Pulling up his hand in preparation for his next cursed electricity blast, Kashimo is just left stunned. In front of him now, and with seemingly no escape, a bunch of world-slashing dismantles, all overlapping to form a net, rush forth like a torrential wave of death. All of a sudden, and flashing away to a place that probably feels more like home than anything for Kashimo, he hears someone speaking some wise words behind him. Many of the world's strongest fighters must have challenged him. Still, with all of their strength and spiritual dominance, they never cursed him in death. In actuality, it's more that they just wanted recognition from him, then that would give them an understanding of what they are truly worth. Yet, he butchered every last one of them, all while simultaneously wondering how he was to properly care for others. In the eyes of the wise Sukuna, if that isn't loving kindness, then what else could it even be? He knows that most people love them for the strength they possess, then they respond to that love. Speaking up now and wondering if Sukuna is satisfied, Kashimo asks if that is the case, then queries why did he decide to divide his soul and move through time as a cursed object. Understanding this, Sukuna just tells him that love is worthless. Through life, he's never needed anyone to satisfy him. He eats whenever he wants and plays with whatever amuses him. He lives life as it befits his nature, and if no one is able to get that through their thick skulls, then that's their problem. Chuckling with Sukuna's explanation, Kashimo just asks if it ever gets old, but is quickly told that it doesn't. Every human has a unique and exuberant taste, which makes devouring them a perfect way to pass the time until death arrives. I want to point out that unlike, when Gojo died, Kashimo wasn't surrounded by all of his loved friends and family, just Sukuna. I wonder if that's possibly because he was a part of the culling game and that's just the effects of it or something, I don't know. Kind of reminded me of Jogoat's death for a moment, with just how quickly he was living and then in the Shadow Realm. I wish we got to see more, but this is, realistic battle-wise. Thinking that Kashimo was even going to last a third as long as Gojo did is absolutely nuts. Either way, and back in reality now with Akari's domain shattering, Sukuna turns to see a certain someone arriving on the battlefield. Dropping in from the sky, both the Yuji and Higuruma ready themselves to face off against the strongest entity in the history of Jujutsu Kaisen. So this next battle is going to be hella interesting. No idea what Yuji has in store for us with this new curse technique or whatever the hell it is. And Sukuna is, on the same page, wondering what the hell he's even going to do here right now. I don't want to see Higuruma close out the series as well just by sticking Sukuna on death row. That just doesn't feel right to me, especially after the dude managed to get around Gojo's infinity. I'm curious about your thoughts on everything down below. Did you want to see more from Kashimo, or were you happy with what you got here? Or perhaps did you expect his final technique to be a bit more potent than what it obviously was? This might just be a case of insanely strong technique and the wrong person or the wrong battle. Kind of like when we saw Gojo display his powers for the second time in Shibuya, which was utterly insane, compared to, episode 7 where Gojo just dunked on him like he was some pathetic curse spirit. If you want to see more content just like this, but for a bunch of different series, then make sure to hit that subscribe button. We're getting pretty close to 200,000 subs now, which is dope as so it'd be cool if we could get there by Christmas. Either way, hit that like button if you have enjoyed the video, but for now, it's been your professional degenerate Diavolo, and I will see you all in a bit. Bye.